Hi there guys, Ken here, you're Thrifty Apprentice, and welcome back to another gouache demo. In today's tutorial, we are going to be taking a stack of macarons. I'm going to be using my Miya Himi gouache set, which you guys have seen me use in review. And we are going to be trying to get a rainbow design on our macaron. So I'm starting off here with some punchu red with a little bit of rose mixed into it. I'm going to be using it to base in the colors on my bottom macaron as well as on the cherry. Now we're going to do the very first layer, basing everything in. We won't be doing a background, but we will be splattering paint in order to add a little motion to it. Next, I'm going to move on to the yellow, and here I'm using the lemon yellow with just a tad bit of the, what is that one? What is that cooler yellow? Oh, Gamboge. I really can't think of the name of it right now, guys. I apologize. But I did put just a touch of it. Next, we're going to move on to the violet, and we're going to use that to base in the violet macaron. And then ultimately, we'll be moving on to green, using the lighter of the greens in that 18 color jelly gouache set in order to base in the green. Now, subsequently, we're going to let that dry completely, giving that first layer of time to flatten out, keeping in mind that, gouache does dry with a matte finish, so it gives us a really nice surface to continue to layer on or even use other medium on top of, which is what I tend to do. Of course, you guys know I am really big about using colored pencils in pretty much every composition, be it watercolor, gouache, or color pencils or watercolor pencils, what have you. I do believe that a really soft lead, semi-opaque colored pencil can add a lot of body and definition to pretty much any composition that you do. So you will see me eventually getting around to do that. So I'm basing in the stem here with a little bit of the brown, and then I'm going to go along the end with a little bit more of a chocolate color. Now, if I had to give these customary names, we were working with vermilion, a spring green, a lemon yellow, violet, and probably more like crimson would be the color that I would be using to shadow in, darkening in the violet with ultramarine, darkening in the yellow with a little of the vermilion, darkening in the green with viridian maybe. So these are the different color palettes I would be using if maybe you're using a gouache set that has more customary colors in it, or even if you're using watercolors to do this. Keep in mind that gouache and watercolors are almost the same beast, with gouache being just a little bit more opaque. So if you wanted to do this composition in watercolor, you could, and it shouldn't be any issue. Now, I decided to make sure that the macarons had like a chocolate filling, so I'm just basing in the first layer of that filling with a mixture of a little bit of burnt sienna, but mostly it's burnt umber, so that I could go ahead and get the richness in color from the first layer. And after I gave that time to dry, I went back in and started to base in the shadows to give the composition a little value and a little depth. Now I'm using the deep red, that's the name of it in this set, in order to add the shadow into both the cherry and the macaron. So I didn't tell you guys the supply list. Of course, I did mention that we were using the Miya Himi gouache set. That's the 18 jelly cup set. I'm using those creative expression brushes that I got from Jerry's Autorama. I told you guys about in several different videos. Taped down, I have a piece of sketchbook paper from the Arteza watercolor journals. These are the square ones with the linen cover. I love these journals. I also like the bigger 9x12 hardbound linen cover Arteza books as well. Really good quality on the paper, much better than most budget student grade cellulose papers. I really do like it. Now, I don't like it as much as my Fabriano Studio paper because it is 25% cotton, but I think this is a wonderful alternative, and I have really been enjoying doing all type of different projects in this sketchbook, from gouache to watercolor to colored pencils. The only thing I wouldn't suggest doing in it is like your alcohol art markers, because the pages are really thick, and I do believe that they're super absorbent and they will, probably drain those markers pretty well if it was an alcohol ink project. But other than that, I think that it takes really well to all types of media, and I definitely say give them a try. They come two to a pack, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. So now that I've gone in and added all of the shadow to deepen the value on the stack of macarons, we are going to put in the detail on the leaves as well as on the stem. Now, I did switch over to a Zen All Media brush in order to do the detailing on those really small leaves. That is, and I'm going back and forth between that one and my really thin round number 2 from Creative Expression. So just keep in mind that you want to try to use a paintbrush that is suitable for the area that you're painting. You wouldn't want a really big brush for a small area, and you really wouldn't want to use a really small brush for a really large area. So just keep that in mind, and it may help you in your painting and techniques. So now what you see me doing here is going in with a glaze layer of all of the colors that we originally laid down for the first layer. So I covered the glazing layer on the cherry. I'm doing the glazing layer on the yellow, of course the purple, the red, and the green. And you're going to see me go back and forth with those glazing layers just to increase the saturation and the depth and to give a little bit more vibrancy to the piece. Now, I want you to take your time. I do understand that this video is sped up, but if this is something that you decide to tackle, be aware that, you can always stop this video. You can use the gear at the bottom to slow it down. You can pause, you can rewind, you can take a break, you can come back. So, even though they may be speed demos, you can still do them at your own pace. Now, it took me a total of, I want to say, about 45 minutes to paint this entire painting from start to finish, although I did shoot it over a couple of days, but in totality it was probably about 45 minutes. So it shouldn't take you long, and gouache is a really, really forgiving medium. It'll lift like watercolors, and because it's opaque, you can tend to paint over areas without having to worry about those layers underneath showing. So here I'm just finishing up the macarons. I'm deepening in the chocolate area, and you're going to see me add in shadows up under the macaron in order to, ground the image to the page. Here we are switching over to the Prismacolor pencils. Now, I did tell you guys earlier in the video, I love using soft lead, semi-opaque or semi-transparent, however you want to say it, colored pencils in order to add more punch and saturation to my colors, more body, more roundness on round objects, just for overall a little bit more depth. So I'm just taking some complementary colors from the Prismacolor line. I keep a little set of them right here on my desk to grab whenever I may decide to use them, and I'm just using those to punch up the color on everything. So yes, I am going to use it to cover every single area. Now, this is where gouache is really different from watercolor. Now, this gouache, regardless of the surface that I use to paint it on, dried matte and left tooth to grab onto that soft lid of that color pencil and really pull that pigment down to give you some really beautiful saturation of the color. So keep that in mind. Don't be scared of your colored pencils. Use them. Mixed media is good media. That's what I always say. So yeah, I'm just going around and punching up these colors. Now guys, don't forget that you can always join me here on the channel for different type of artwork compositions throughout the week. Go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you'll get notification when new content comes out. Please like the video. Let me know that you are liking and enjoying the content that I take time and put together for you guys, and that you may be actually learning something from it. I love to know that. Don't forget to follow us on the Thrifty Apprentice Facebook page, YouTube page, as well as TikTok. We're there now. Wonderful group on Facebook for the channel that you guys can join. Link is going to always be in the video description. And do keep in mind that's where you'll get all the challenges information and giveaway information from. Now here you see me splattering some paint in the background just to give the picture a little motion, because I didn't actually do a full background. And now I'm going to grab the gel pen in order to add the highlights, into the composition, just to add a little bit more body and roundness, and it kind of makes the macarons kind of stand out and shine and look really nice and really pretty. So guys, there you have it. I did let you know all of the channel detail information. And like I said, don't forget to join us over in the Thrifty Apprentice channel Facebook group, which is called Paints, Pencils, Pastels, and Markers. Wonderful group full of wonderful audience, wonderful people where you can get respect, learn, and grow together. So remember, as I always tell you guys, just keep painting.